Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing this fun and colorful design. I got the idea to do this when I was watching a baking show with my mom one time, and the host had on this really bright and colorful shirt, and I thought it'd be really cool to create a nail set like based off of the pattern on his shirt. So starting off, I'm just going in with Flirty from Madam Glam. It's this like nude color, and I'm painting 3 of the nails with this. I did the thumb, middle, and the pinky nail, and I did 2 coats of this color, and I cured each coat for 60 seconds. After that, I'm taking Electric Yellow from Nail Reserve, and I'm painting the other 2 nails with this. I also did 2 coats of this and cured each coat for 60 seconds. I honestly thought this yellow was going to be too bright and like neon for this set compared to the yellow that was on the shirt, but it actually ended up working out and coming together once I got everything else on top of it. All those other colors kind of muted down the yellow a bit, so it doesn't look as neon in the end. And then on those nude nails, I am wiping them down with some alcohol because I am going over top with the yellow, and I'm going to be drawing on some French tips. I also wiped down the yellow nails too, since I am going to be doing nail art on top of those, and I always wipe down my nails with alcohol to remove the sticky layer before going in with any nail art. From personal experience, the sticky layer kind of makes the whatever you put on top kind of spread out, kind of like a blooming gel, and I don't like how that looks, so I do always wipe off the nails with alcohol before I go in with any nail art on top. Like I said, I'm taking that Electric Yellow and drawing on some French tips onto those nude nails. I did only do 1 coat of this for these French tips because I forgot that I had only did 1 coat, but it ended up working out in the end. I should have done 2 coats, but with everything going on the nails, you can't really tell that it's only 1 coat in the end. So, like I said, it all ended up working out in the end. And the liner brush that I'm using is a 15mm liner brush. for this design, there are a lot of different shapes on it and in different colors. I had to do a lot of color mixing for this set just because I didn't have the exact color that I needed. So to start off, I am going to be mixing up a like magenta color. So I'm going to take Bliss Pink and Starstruck from Nail Reserve and mix those together to try and get that magenta color. When I mixed these two together, it wasn't quite the color I was looking for. So I did take a darker, or kind of like, I mean, it's darker than this purple that I used here, but it's also a little more on the neon side. Can you hear the rain hitting the window? It just started like raining really hard all of a sudden. Anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I mixed this color in because I felt like it wasn't a deep enough shade of magenta that I was going for. And you'll see I just kind of keep mixing in different colors to try and get this. I think I ended up mixing in a little bit of white because I needed to mute it down a little bit. But then once I got it mixed up the way I needed it to be mixed up, I did go in and paint on the shapes that were on it. It was just like squares and rectangles and trapezoids, I think that's what they're called. I don't know, just like random rectangles and squares and stuff on the nail. So like I said, after I got the color all mixed up in the shade that I wanted it, I did go ahead and start drawing on these shapes onto the nails. I am using I think I used the 10mm liner brush for this just because I am doing this on shorter nails and I felt like a shorter brush would be easier to do. So I'm just drawing on the different shapes. And then once I get them drawn on and filled in, I do go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And I want to say I only showed myself doing these shapes on 2 of the nails. I think I showed them on this full yellow nail and then on one of the French tip nails. Just because it's pretty repetitive and I felt like it'd be boring to watch me draw, you know, like squares and triangles and whatever all over a nail 100 times. So I did cut out the other 3 nails and just showed these 2 nails. after I was done with the pink, I took Perfect Black and went in with that 10mm liner brush and just drawn on the little like spots that were on the shirt. You could do this with a dotting tool if you wanted, but I decided to go ahead and do this with a liner brush because I felt like I could get more like, what's the word? Not like the opposite of uniform, because like with a dotting tool you get like a perfect circle every time. I mean, you can get this kind of funky circly shape with a dotting tool, but I just feel like it's a lot easier to get these kind of random like blobs with a liner brush versus a dotting tool. That's just my opinion. If you want to use a dotting tool, use a dotting tool. But after I got these all over the nails, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then after I got these black dots on, I did go ahead and wipe all the nails off again with alcohol just to remove the sticky layer off of the pink and the black, because I am going over top of those with some other colors and doing some more different shapes on top of there. And I just didn't want it to like spread on the pink and black and then not spread on the yellow, and just my shapes end up being funky and lumpy. So on the shirt there was some like salmon colored circles on there, so I had to mix that color because I didn't have the exact color. So I am going to take Sunset in Hawaii and Florist from Madam Glam and mix those together to try and get a salmony color. I do believe I ended up mixing in a little bit of white to get it on the lighter side, because if you look at the shirt, the orange like salmony color that it is on the lighter side, and this was just a little bit too dark, just having this orange and pink mixed together. So I did end up adding in a little bit of white to lighten that up a little bit. You know, I'm realizing I'm calling this a salmon color, but this actually might be more of like a coral color. I don't know. I always feel like salmon is more pinky and coral is more like orangey, and I feel like this color is more on the pink side, at least the way I mixed it up. It kind of looks more pink to me, so I'm calling it salmon, but I don't know, it might actually be coral. I don't know, you call it whatever you want, I guess. So after I got that mixed up, I did go ahead and wipe those nails down again with alcohol, like I said earlier. And then I went in and drew on the circles with this color. On his shirt, you can only see 3 of these circles. So I did only do 3 of these circles on the entire set. So I did one on this French tip. I did one on one of the full nails, and then I think I did the third one on another French tip. I might show myself at this point doing the shapes on all of the nails. I can't remember if I showed myself drawing these shapes on all of the nails because there's not many of them, or if I only showed like a couple. Okay, no, I did show on all of them what I drew. But anyhow, after I got these on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Now I'm going in with this blue. I believe this was Maddie from Madam Glam. And I went in and drew on the blue squares that were on the shirt. After I got those all drawn on, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Yeah, so that was Maddie from Madam Glam. I just forgot to show that before using it. For this one, I am going to be mixing another color up again. I started with Sail Away from Nail Reserve. I'm taking white. I don't know if I said this earlier, but the white that I'm using is also from Nail Reserve. I'm trying to get this like light blue kind of teal looking color for the lighter blue squares that are on the shirt. I was actually having a little bit of a difficult time getting the right color. I still don't think I got it completely right and matched up to what it looked like on the shirt, but I think it was close enough to where it looked good on the nails. This green here is Electric Green from Nail Reserve. I added just a little bit of that in because I felt like the color on the shirt was a little teal-ish, but it ended up being way too dark, and I had to add a lot of white in to kind of lighten it up to the shade that I wanted it to be. And I ended up mixing way more of this color than I really needed, but I kept having to add more and more white in to get it really light, like how I wanted it. Like I said, this color was a little bit tricky to mix up, and it wasn't 100% completely quite the color that I was wanting, but I went with it anyhow, and it ended up working out in the finished result. Also, I just want to mention that I do have discount codes with both Madam Glam and Nail Reserve. So if you do like any of these colors that I'm using, or if you just like, Madam Glam or Nail Reserve and you need to get some more gel polishes from them, or you want to try them out, I do have discount codes that will get you some money off. I believe the Madam Glam one is 35% off, and the Nail Reserve is 50% off, but you do have to buy at least 2 gel polishes for the 50% to be applied to your purchase. So I will have those up on the screen. They are also down in the description below for anyone who may be interested in purchasing from either one of those companies. After I did those light blue squares, which I apologize, I didn't get that on camera, but it's just the same as the other squares. I take electric green and I draw on some triangles. For this electric green, I did end up having to go in with a second coat on it just because it was kind of see-through, especially over those black spots there. I did cure for 60 seconds on each of those coats. And then I took on Fire from Nail Reserve, and it ended up being too similar in shade of that pink that I had mixed up. I didn't realize that when I mixed up that it was basically the same color. I could have just ended up using that for the original pink shapes that I did, but since those were already on, I did mix in a little bit of white into On Fire to make it a lighter pink, because there are lighter pink triangles on the shirt. So I just went in and drew in some of those triangles on some of the open space that was left. And then I did go ahead and cure that for 60 seconds once I was done getting those on. So after all of the shapes are on, I took Perfect Black from Madame Glam and went in and did like the little shadow outlines on the shapes. If you look at the shirt, they kind of have like this shadow look to them. Like they have the black outline on part of the shape, and it kind of makes it look like a shadow, so it makes these shapes look a little more 3D. So that is what I'm going through and doing now. I am still using that the 10 millimeter liner brush for this. And I'm just doing very light pressure with it because I want to keep these lines pretty thin. I don't want them to be too thick and be like too bulky. I felt like it would look kind of weird if they were too thick. So I was wanting to keep them pretty thin. But after I got all of these lines on all of the shapes across all of the nails, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. And then I decided to top coat these with matte top coat. I just felt like since this is a design based off of a shirt, it would look better being matte versus shiny. I also just feel like this design itself would look really good matte. So I am using the LGN matte top coat. And I went in to see if there would be any streaking or smudging with this matte top coat, and there was a little bit from the black outlines. I don't know if you can see it there on that blue square. You could really see the streaking on that black. So I did end up wiping everything off with some alcohol. I've said this before that if you are using a matte top coat and you are experiencing streaking and smudging with it, go in with and wipe off the nails with alcohol before adding on the matte top coat, and you won't experience that streaking and smudging anymore. So after I wiped all the nails off, I did go back in with the matte top coat and apply that to all of the nails, and then I cured that for 60 seconds. And then I did just want to go ahead and show you what they would look like if they were left shiny like this. For anyone who does prefer shiny nails, you can kind of get an idea of what they would look like, but this is what they look like after they were cured. I really like how they look matte. I'm not a huge fan of matte nails, but I will say there are certain designs that I feel like look better matte versus shiny, and this is just one of those designs that I feel like looks better matte as opposed to being shiny. But I am really happy with how this set came out. It is a really fun and colorful set. I've really been feeling these like super colorful sets here lately, just because it's kind of been like cold and gloomy, and I'm ready for the warmer weather. I really hate like winter and fall just because it is so cold. Also, it's spring because I have really bad allergies. I definitely am a summer person, but anyhow, this is just a really fun set, and it's actually pretty easy to do. There are a lot of steps and a lot of layers, but I feel like anybody can do this, and you can use whatever colors you want. You don't have to go with this exact color scheme that I went with. I just did it because that is the color scheme of the shirt, and I wanted it to look like the shirt that he was wearing. I'll insert a clip at the end so you can see the shirt and the nails side by side. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.